Yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery, but today is a gift. That is why it is called the present.
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today I want to do sort of my own personal wish list video for Tekken 8. I know I did a reaction to Rips and some other content creators in the past, but I thought now would be a good time to talk about some of the things I'm expecting out of Tekken 8. Some of these will be things that I feel 100% needs to be in the game, and then some of these is like, fan fiction, my own personal twist. But some of these I feel like it's going to be make or break. Before we dive super deep into the discussion, make sure you hit that subscribe button, leave a like on the video. The goal is 4,000 subscribers. How fast can we reach it? Like this video and subscribe. I appreciate all of the support that the channel has gotten so far. And with that being said, let's get into it. I'll start off with game modes because I feel like that's the easiest to explain. That's the easiest to just throw out there. The first one, you have to talk about Team Battle. Tekken 8, Team Battle needs to be there. I feel like, because here's the thing. I'm going to talk about 3 game modes. Out of all 3 of these, Team Battle is the easiest to implement. I feel like if they wanted to, they could just tweak the settings, tweak a little bit of menu screen, and they could add Team Battle to Tekken 7. It's literally the difference between picking 1 character and 10 characters. This is the simplest thing they can do to Tekken 8. And it's simple, but it has a big impact. One thing about Tekken 7 is how big the roster is. 51 characters, I believe, and you don't really have any incentive to pick a different character unless you want to play in tournaments and you want to play whichever character is, top tier at the time. Then you switch. But if you're just online, you're going to play whichever character you like, and that's it. Maybe 1 or 2 or 3. I know some people play a lot of the roster, but most people play 2 or 3. The good thing about Team Battle, it would give us a reason to use this massive roster. 51 characters give us a reason to use all of them. Team Battle, 8 on 8, that needs to be there in Tekken 8. That's all I have to say about that. The next thing I'll talk about is co-op Tekken Force. Now, all of these game modes, they go without saying, but they need to be online. I feel like them adding in a game mode and it not being online is just, why even do that? So everything that I'm mentioning, just know that I mean online and offline, both. But co-op Tekken Force. The reason why I think this one is important, not only is this needed in Tekken, but if you just talk about the competition, Mortal Kombat, they have the Crypt. Street Fighter 6, they have, I can't remember what they call it, the Battle Hub or whatever it's called, the open world exploration. Tekken needs its open world exploration factor. Now, they don't have to do that with the story. I'm not saying in Tekken 8 do scenario campaign. I think what they set out with the cutscenes and the cinematics is very good. But as a additional mode, they should give us Tekken Force, and they should make it online. I say possibly the best way to go about this is to make it 4 players. You could either go into it with 4 people, like in a party, an Xbox Live party, PlayStation party, or you could just get matchmake with 3 other random people online, and you can make friends. Instead of sending hate messages all the time, Tekken players can work together. In terms of matches, in terms of stages, what I think they can do is, let's say for the base roster of stages, they give us the Mishima Zaibatsu building, and then they give us G Corporation building. And then you have those 2 different types of buildings you can explore and go through. And then maybe at the end of the stage, you have like, Bruce as a boss battle or Nina Williams as a boss battle, something like that. Another idea I was thinking about is DLC. I feel like DLC has played such a big role in Tekken 7, and they can work this into Tekken Force. Imagine if when we got Kunimitsu DLC and she attacked Yoshimitsu at the Manji Clan Fortress. Imagine if we got that fortress as a Tekken Force map and you were able to navigate it, and you had a sub boss where Raven was halfway through, and then at the very end you have Yoshimitsu, right? And everyone you beat up along the way is like Manji clan members. That would have been fantastic. Another idea I think in my head is Fahkumram. He's a prisoner. What if you have a stage where your mission is to go inside and free Fakamram, break him out, and then escort him out of the prison? That is what I think about when I hear Tekken Force. Online, working together, and incorporating the DLC to give us new maps and varieties and things like that. Also, this is just a small thing, but I would say they should probably change the name from Tekken Force. I know a lot of legacy players is going to be like, what? Change the name? What? But I feel like Tekken Force is cool, but I feel like they should change it to something more, like something that hits you. You know what I mean? Like, I just think giving it a spicy new name to make it feel like new and improved will be really good. The last game mode that I'll talk about is Trials. Now, this is something that I just came up on my own because I felt like the third one should be something unique. Basically, what Trials would be. You guys know how in like Forza and all these racing games, you have this Trials game mode where you go around the laps the fastest, right? You try to get a world record. I know Eris plays these things all the time. But what if they added something like that to Tekken, where you have a online leaderboard and you basically can fight computers and you can see who in the world beat that computer the quickest. They can have each character, you know, the whole roster, 51 characters. You can see your personal best is in the best time in the world. And then basically what you do is you just go in there and you just try to beat other people's time. You just see how fast you can beat the computer. Now the computer, I don't think the computer should be weak. The computer should be really, really good. And this way, you won't be able to just spam unblockables. If someone does, you clip it, and then that's like a viral moment. You see that on Twitter, you see that on Reddit. Oh, I just beat Gigas in 2 seconds with a Yoshimitsu unblockable. You know, the reason why I'm suggesting they add something like Trials is because I feel like there's a lot of people who play offline. A bunch of people who only sit in practice mode, in arcade, in scenario campaign. They never touch online. And then you have people who only play online. Trials would be a game mode that sort of try to get both of those people to interact with each other. You have the people who only like to play against computer and lab matchups and things like that. They're in Trials. And then you also have people online going into Trials, competing for the top positions. I think that would be a good idea, but I'm interested to see what you guys say about that. That's it for the game modes. Those are my 3. Now we're going to be talking about gameplay. I know a lot of people show up in a live stream and they ask me, what would I change about Tekken 8 or Tekken 7 going into Tekken 8? And I kind of tried to make this as simple as possible, but I have a few bullet points that I want to just read to you guys. The first thing I would say they need to change in Tekken 8 is limiting the rage art to 1 per match. I don't think you should be able to spam a rage drive all 3 rounds, or in the cases where you go to final round, all 5. I really think they should limit it to just 1. If they need to, limit it to 2. But just having it just a freebie every single time you could just throw it out. 1, I feel like that gets boring after a while in terms of online gameplay. But then 2, I feel like that hurts people who are trying to learn. People who are trying to learn, they will just button mash the whole time. And at the very end, they will just throw out the rage art in order to save themselves. And I feel like having beginners rely so heavily on the rage arts is limiting their growth. If you limit how much they can use it, they will then resort to using other tools, other aspects of the game to win. And in doing so, they will get better. But I feel like having rage arts in the game, yes, it helps beginners keep up, reduce the skill gap, but in the long run, they will just be, spamming rage arts and getting launched punished for it. I feel like in the long run, it's only going to hurt them. Rage drives, however, can stay the same. But one thing I will say about rage arts, I kind of don't like how people have 2. I feel like characters who have 2 rage drives, the second rage drive tends to be more powerful. If you do give everyone a rage drive, try to have it some level of equality in terms of how good it is, but then also the execution. Some characters' rage drive is super easy to do. And in some other characters, you have to have some level of execution. So I feel like in Tekken 8, it shouldn't be this big difference in skill gap to do a crucial move like a Rage Drive, right? Next up is reduced wall travel. Now I know wall travel was a big discussion back at the beginning of Season 3. Season 4, everyone kind of got used to it. But I think in Tekken 8, wall travel needs to be addressed. And not because I think the combos is too long or the combos is too bloated, but the aspect or the angle that I'm looking at it from is when every character can go from wall to wall on every stage, right? Every character can go wall to wall on every stage. That makes all of the stages feel small, feel the same. What's the point of having a stage that's a circle, a square, octagon, rectangle, triangle, all of these different shapes and sizes if the same combo will travel the same distance? I feel like in Tekken 8, if they want to continue this wall travel thing that's happening in Tekken 7, they need to make the stages bigger. In doing so, the stages will feel unique. They will feel different. An example that I give is the newest stage that we got in Tekken 7. Lita's stage. Her stage at the top is kind of small. It's kind of like a normal Tekken stage. But when you break that balcony and you go down to the beach, how many characters can go wall to wall in that area? Not many. That bottom section is huge. And that is what I want in Tekken 8. Big open spaces. If the combos are just going to remain long, then increase the stages. The next thing that I want to talk about is Power Crush. Power Crush can stay. I have no issue with Power Crush. I do think Power Crush, there is some unfairness there. Like some characters, their Power Crush is trash. And in some characters, they have a god tier Power Crush. Safe, unpunishable, plus frames, guaranteed mix-up. Some Power Crushes in Tekken 7 is bizarre. But also, I do not think the combination of Power Crush and Wall Bounce should happen. I feel like those two things should not be together. You're already at such a disadvantage, a unfavorable position, having your back to the wall. When you're in that position, you need to press a button or you need to do something in order to escape. In Tekken 7, the walls is so powerful, so you need to get out of that. But the Power Crush, especially ones that wall bounce, is just that much more of a nuisance. Whatever you try to do can be Power Crush wall bounce and boom, you hit the wall and you're probably going to be done next round. I feel like that is not a combination. If so, if they do want to have Power Crush wall bounce, it needs to be launch punishable. Walls in Tekken 7 is too powerful. And the next point that I want to talk about is reducing how many times you can be hit on the wall. I think in no way, shape, or form you should be hit more than 3, maybe 4 times. I feel like 4 should be a rarity, but I feel like getting Power Crush wall bounce and if someone does a 6-7 hit combo on the wall, that is absurd. It needs to be 3 maximum. The wall in Tekken 7 is way too powerful. Way too powerful. And it also goes back to the stages all feeling super small. If the stage was bigger, the wall would have less of a effect on the match. But since everyone can go wall to wall, most of the rounds is decided by who hits it first. So let's recap. Limit the rage art to once per match. Make the rage drive somewhat of the same skill and easy to use. Reduce wall travel and or make the stages bigger. Power Crushes can stay, but Power Crush wall bounce needs to go. If not, launch punishable by every character, not just the Mishimas. Reduce the amount of times you can hit someone on the wall. Nothing over 4. The next point, make launchers less spammable. In Tekken 7, there's this thing where you can just spam orbitals, spam hop kicks. In Tekken 7, the risk versus reward is skewed so strongly in the favor of the one who's attacking. Claudio, Brian Fury, Katarina, Bob, there's a bunch of characters who could just spam these launchers. And yes, you may get a jab punish, but all they have to do is hit you one time, do a combo, you're at the wall, and it's over. I'm not saying make launchers launch punishable, but it should not be as effective or spammable as it is in Tekken 7. Now I know they do this to, once again, decrease the skill gap, but I just feel like it's not good for the game. The final thing about gameplay, stop giving every character hop kicks, orbitals, and hell sweeps. If every character didn't have the same tools, we wouldn't even be in this situation in the first place. So every new character they add, stop doing that. Stop making every character Claudio, Kunimitsu. Give them something unique and different. In the old games, characters used to have identity. Now they just have a generic moveset, and yes, the frames may be different, or yes, the animations may be different, but it's the same thing. This video turned out to be a lot longer than I expected, so I will split the video in two parts. Part 1 was focused on game modes and gameplay. Part 2 will be focused on story and some of the ideas I have for my characters and some of the other more important characters. So stay tuned for that. That video will be uploaded shortly. But thanks everyone for checking this one out. Let me know what you think about some of the suggestions that I gave in this video. And once again, I'll talk to you guys next time. Subscribe, like, and just, you guys are amazing. That's it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.